Hi everybody, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're doing okay. I've got a topic today, a video about a subject that is near and dear to my own heart and probably to a lot of you too. And that is our well-being, our health and well-being. And the question that I'm going to ask is, what is your hunger for in life? Is it for pleasure in your life or is it for food? Food is an emotional subject, and for me personally, I have a lot of challenges with it. But I want to talk to you today about an article written by one of our bloggers, Sherry Broder, about how to determine, what is driving our thirst for hunger, for food or for a lifestyle, and how they are connected. So there's a cliche, of course, that women can, take care of the whole world, but they don't take care of themselves. It's a classic thing as you get to be 60 years old that you look back and think, I spent a lot of my life giving to other people, sharing with my family, with my partner, with my community. And I maybe forgot myself there in the midst of all of that. And we place ourselves sometimes at the bottom of the list of priorities. And we tend to get overwhelmed sometimes by the situations swirling around us that in some way feel that we're going to be able to fix. And then we find ourselves with this hunger. It's a hunger for something. It's a hunger for life. It's a hunger for experience and for doing the things that we've always wanted to do. And the way that we sometimes express that is through food. And that, of course, the main reason for that is no secret at all. It is that we are eating for pleasure. We're eating to assuage that hunger that we're about life that we're interpreting in terms of a physical hunger, and we are just eating to fill that gap and to get pleasure in our lives. Now, of course, food helps our body with fuel. It drives our body. It keeps us going. It's the fuel that drives the engine, and we know that. And I think during tough times, though, we particularly think that we need more of that. That we need to be stronger. We need to be more in control. We need to be more capable, and so we eat to strengthen ourselves. And I think especially during the last 15 months, 2 years, whenever you're watching this video, this pandemic has really driven us to want to be nurtured and have a focus on a satisfaction and pleasure through the things that we can control. And in our little world where we've been in lockdown and alone, food is the one thing that we've had control over. We've been able to eat, and I don't there's a single person that at some point in the lockdown went a bit crazy. I know I did at the beginning when I learned how to make bread. And of course, that was one of my, tick box things I wanted to learn in life, that everything was going to be resolved during the 15 months of quarantine, of lockdown. But so I ate scones and cakes and pastry, because it wasn't so much I was hungry for the food. I was hungry for the accomplishment, and I was hungry for what it did to me emotionally. So my body didn't need it all, and it stored it very conveniently, as it does so well, as fat. And it also helped me to deal with the negative feelings. I think a lot of people dealt with anger, frustration, sadness. I mean, the emotional spectrum during the lockdown has been remarkable, and I think so much, was to kind of just survive and just keep going. And we didn't realize that we were juggling too many balls, physically and emotionally and spiritually. I mean, I just realized now that I have the 2 vaccines and I'm, feeling a little bit more comfortable about moving around, how stressed I was. And it wasn't like stress in a way that you could really manage. It was an underlying gnawing anxiety. So we all need to balance these things in our lives, and eating food was a way to sort of soothe the edges of that trauma. So food is easy, right? It's easy. It doesn't talk back. It doesn't question us eating it, like, stop, 500 calories in that mouthful. It doesn't do anything. It's just so giving and loving and accepting. It's just kind of the thing that keeps us going. Remember when you were a child? Oh, I try not to do this with my grandson and sons, plural. And I know it's challenging because, they'll do anything for a gummy bear. And sometimes you need them to do anything and put on their shoes, for example. And, but food is a reward. It's always been considered a reward. And I think that's really, really where it all starts. Emotional eating fundamentally, though, is a search for pleasure. And I think that children are always on that search for the pleasure principle. They're very immediate in their desires, and they just want it now. And I think that's how we've turned what has happened to us too. So the pleasure of eating versus the pleasure of life, they're connected, because in order to have a healthy, long, disease-free and without chronic illnesses, without any kinds of challenges physically and medically, we have to control and eat a healthy diet. When we eat too much food, what happens? Well, we gain weight. We get a sense of discouragement and despair and kind of, even annoyance or frustration with ourselves. We know that then that kind of stress and emotional, beating ourselves up emotionally, actually has a physical effect. And what do? We eat more food. It's a vicious cycle. So when we deny ourselves pleasure and say that we don't deserve it, that so whatever's going on in your life, you don't deserve it. It actually we turn to doing the thing that sounds like it's a choice, and it's giving us pleasure, which is to eat. So I think it's really important. I know this is kind of preaching to the choir, and I don't even know if I'm giving you any information here that's new, but I'm just sharing my own situation too, is that I've decided that I want to be searching in my pleasure for life. And I think that once I can find those things, then I will stop nibbling. Now, I'm actually getting better at it, I must admit, and I think it is because I've decided that I'm going to start putting the focus on my life and what I'm doing, what I want to do for the future, what my plans are, what my desires are, and substituting other things for food. So, if you keep a list of your simple pleasures, for me, I like making necklaces. I like making jewelry and doing cabochon creations. So that's kind of one of my things. And if I put aside time to do that, and I see a necklace being created, and I see something being born, then I find myself going for long periods without really wanting anything to eat. It's and I do some things like maybe trick myself to, it's a reward in a way, but it's saying just do this one thing that you love to do, and then have a cup of coffee with a little piece of chocolate. You don't need a lot. That's the thing about food. You don't need a huge quantity of it. We just need to keep aware of these very simple pleasures that fill those gaps in our lives and kind of represent the bigger picture. So for me, a tiny piece of chocolate is just as powerful as a whole chocolate bar. Although that little part in your brain will keep telling you. But the secret is to find those things that you enjoy doing. And miraculously, what's going to happen too is you'll start meeting people doing those things at the same time. And so the hunger for food is sometimes a hunger for friendship, a hunger for relationships and community. And so once you start doing things you love and having a passion for life and a hunger for life, a hunger for the things you love to do, you'll start bumping into those people that are going to give you joy too. So Sherry actually does a course, what is it called? 30 Days to End Emotional Eating Forever. Now, I don't know whether she still offers this program. It's at the bottom of this article that I'll link to for you, but maybe that'll be something that you can go off to and read. And maybe if your desire for food, your passion and for pleasure in food is related to emotional trauma or emotional situations, then maybe this could help you. It's I think it's an e-course. I don't know whether there's a cost for it, but just check it out. And there's plenty of others too. It's a really important topic. So what factors stop you from accessing the pleasures in the life that you like? Do you think that you're substituting your desire for pleasure in life with your pleasure for food? Is the one substituting for the other? I'd love to get your feedback on this. I know so many women in our community have written and talked about this emotional eating. And I think switching it around to a conversation about pleasure, desire for pleasure in life, is a little bit more interesting than saying, I eat every time I'm upset, or every time I have to pay a bill, or every time I lose something, or every time someone says something to me that hurts me. When you get into that kind of emotional cycle, it's really saying, what is the pleasure that you want in life, and how are you going to substitute that for food? Just asking for a friend. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. I really look forward to hearing your comments. Please leave them in the section below. If you've enjoyed this video and love reading and talking about things of interest to older women, please subscribe to the channel. join press that notification bell, because that will tell you when new videos are published. I do 4 every week, so there's something for you to watch on all different topics: beauty and fashion, relationships, downsizing, retirement, money, well-being, all kinds of things. Please join us there. And if a minimum, just like the video for me, because then that gives YouTube an opportunity to share it to other women who are in this age group and looking for similar communication topics. Okay, everybody, well, have a fabulous day wherever you are. Love you all, and take care of yourselves. Stay safe and well, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye for now.